Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Noel Zone. This is Craic in time. Jesus, for once I didn't make a mistake actually getting mixed up with the channels. Yay! Anyway, we are here to talk about whatever the panel are going to talk about. I have sent the emails. PD won't be with us tonight. He has a work-related meeting, so I think it'll just be Cinnamon and I better check Facebook actually and see if Charlotte is coming on. I'm pretty sure she is, but just to make sure. I've been so busy that I don't, me, don't even. I don't even know why I have Facebook, to be quite honest with you. At this stage, I don't really fucking use it. Give me a second. This takes about 15 hours to load. Well, listen, we're not living in the late 1990s. Could you hurry up, please? Anyway, who's in the studio? We got Cinnamon. Right, so Cinnamon's in the studio. I don't have a message from Charlotte, so that's good. That means that's good news. That's good news, I think. So we'll give her a sec because we are early. Well, I do these streams early now because I did literally just finish the stream on the other channel. And I was at a protest on Monday. So yeah, bank holiday weekend. I was busy. Well, lots of other people in the country were nice and relaxed. I was out in the rain. Anyway, while we're waiting on Queen Charlotte to come on, I will bring on Cinnamon Toast, the Crunch, because he picked the name because it sounded cool. He never actually tasted the cereal, I don't think either. So like a bit disappointed that he named himself after cereal that he's never tried. I think a lot of people agree with me. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He didn't like the fact that I said he didn't eat cinnamon. Disaster. Disaster. See that? See that? I'm scared off me panelists now. Everywhere I go, I'm either upsetting someone or scaring someone off. I'm only joking. Here he is. It's the one and only Cinnamon Toast. Welcome to the channel, Cinnamon Toast Bun. Have we got some technical issues again? I think we may have some tech issues with Cinnamon, or he's pretending that he can't hear me, or there's a delay, and then he's going to answer in a few minutes and start laughing. No, it was a technical issue. This is great, isn't it? It's a great start, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? It's a great start, isn't it, folks? Brilliant, brilliant. Well, I will obviously talk because I did watch Deadpool and Wolverine, and I won't have to spoil on the missus. Has everybody watched the movie first, actually, before I start talking about Deadpool and Wolverine? Because if you haven't, well, no, actually, I won't really go into spoilers, right? But this is what I'll say about it. If you're going into this movie looking for a complicated plot, forget about it. If you're looking for a movie that will make you laugh, has brilliant fight sequences, and actually has some memorable cameos and some serious scenes as well in the movie. It's not all member berries and stuff like that, right? And you like the Deadpool franchise, this movie is up your alley, right? It is, right? Now, I didn't like the second movie, but I absolutely adore this movie. Now, is it perfect? No. Does it have the most complicated script? No, right? But what it does exactly what it says on the tin. You go in to watch that movie for the 2.5 hours, whatever it was, you're going to come out with a smile on your face, except if you're the two girls from America who came out and said it was anti-Christian, and Wolverine was on an X because they never read the comics in their life or whatever. But they were stupid. But if you're like those girls, don't go and watch this movie because you will be offended. Apparently, the left are offended because it's ultra violent and there's a lot of bad language in it. So this is the movie to go and watch, basically, right? And if you have a leftist friend that you hate, bring them to this movie. Bring them to this movie because within 10, 15 minutes, they'll be crying and they'll walk out, okay? But, yeah, it was an enjoyable movie, and it's probably, I said this, it's probably been years since I've been able to enjoy anything from Marvel, Disney, which I hate to say, but it's Ryan Reynolds again. Ryan Reynolds respecting the cameos of the people that he brought in as well, I think sold this movie for me. Ryan Reynolds is just the gift that keeps on giving. And you know what? Yeah, people will complain the movie probably should have been a bit story-wise, a bit better quality, whatever. Yeah, if we were really fucking being, if we were getting good movies, we'd be calling this, average. But we've been getting shit below average for years. So this seems like some people have over fucking blown the saying it's the best movie they've ever. No, it's not, right? But it is good. It is fun. I laughed out loud a few times. And I just want to say one thing though. Dog pool for the win. Dog pool for the win. If you're that fucking ugly and you can get into the Deadpool franchise, you've won it for me already. But that little doggy, yes. Anyway, I'll bring on my panel and I'll bring on Cinnamon again. We'll try get him on before he jumps again.
But what?
He's calling himself Cinnamon Toast Lag now. No, Cinnamon Toast Bun you should call yourself because you have them in England.
No, that was from last week. That's not just been done. I think I put that as last week. Yeah, the joys of streaming. Yeah? I mean, what a right piece about this laptop is. I've restarted the laptop now. Probably won't make a difference, but never mind. Here I am anyway. It's better on the phone because it's actually real-time conversation somehow.
Well, we got you here now. Let's bring on Queen Charlotte. She's been laughing in the background of all this drama and shit that's been going on, and I wouldn't blame her.
Hello, everybody.
There she is, having a great old little chuckle to ourselves there. But no, seriously, on Deadpool and Wolverine. Do you know what? I just know. People keep saying, I should watch the movies, watch low. No interest. No. I actually haven't. I don't. No interest in that character, right? But seeing this movie, I mean, for me, Hugh Jackman actually steals the show in this movie, but Ryan Reynolds is just equally as good. It's just Hugh Jackman in this movie. And I mean, his Wolverine, I fucking loved it. Seriously, it's the first time that I've watched that character where I've absolutely said I love it. But it wasn't just, I can't spoil the cameos because some people probably still haven't seen it. But my favorite cameo. This movie franchise in the third movie. So to see a particular character come back, and by the way, all the cameos were great. It was just this one for me was personal, right? The one that came up was personal. And you know what? When he said the line that he said, I was like, yeah, Yo, I fucking out loud. I swear. So I just want to say to Ryan Reynolds, look, well done, right? Yeah, people will argue it's not the great. It plot wise, it's not that deep. Did it really have to be that deep though? I don't think so. You know, I don't think so. It was a bit of fun. He ripped the piss out of everybody as we thought he would. You know, there was the breaking of the four wall for the you know, a few times. That was funny. But Hugh Jackman, I mean, just he is a good. I knew he was always a good actor, but that Wolverine, that version of Wolverine, is the most accurate Wolverine that I've seen on screen, and he actually does the face. He actually does the fucking the face, the Wolverine face that you see. Oh my god! Oh my god! Epic, epic, man, epic. I will say the ending was a bit flat, but I don't really give a shit. The rest of it up until that point was just absolutely. I was just like, go on. And I knew it wasn't, you know, a hard plot to follow. I mean, he rips off even fucking Mad Max in the movie. I mean, it's so
straight
fucking
away.
Mad Maxy. He even says it. He even says it. You know, it's so.
As soon as they're in the void, I think it's called, because that's not spoilers.
Yeah.
He even straight away, doesn't he? He's like, "Oh, this is a bit Mad Max," and it's just like, "Yeah, exactly."
I had heard of the opening credits and scene of the movie, and when I heard it was the Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, was it NSYNC?
Yeah, it was NSYNC.
Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I was like, oh, I'm not really sure about this, but by God, what a fucking what a way to start the actual movie. I mean, holy shit. I mean, to even think of that's how I want to open my movie. I'm like, oh my God, just mad. Just for and you know, spoilers, close your ears if you haven't heard it, but when he digs up the grave, still of the body, but when he puts the claws on, with the dead, oh my God, and he stabs himself and all, it's so fucking, oh man.
Well, also, it's because they do it with the end fight as well, which is with like a prayer, which is also genius music.
Yeah.
And like, it's this thing of like, we've had it before, it's not a new thing of timing the music to sort of bits of the fight and what's happening. But this to me felt like the opening with NSYNC and then the end fight with Madonna felt like it was really one of the slickest things we've had for a while that combines the music with what's happening on this, like, and it wasn't even just the punches that matched, was it? It was like literally how they were walking or pacing or moving, especially with the Madonna one. That it was like, no, this is timed perfectly to the beats of the song. It was so like sleekly done, wasn't it?
I'm telling you, look, you know, we've created, as I said, if we were getting consistent great movies, if we were to rate this, if we were getting consistent great movies, we would probably say this was an average Marvel movie.
I disagree. I think actually, I'm with you. It's not the best, most complex thing ever. I don't agree. People are trying to say it is, but actually, the character work in this movie
was
how they sort of got this Wolverine and the idea of he's like the worst.
He's the Wolverine that refused to help. Basically.
Yeah, without going into spoilers too much, he's like the deadbeat. He's the worst Wolverine of all the multiverse Wolverines. So because of that, you really got this sort of redemption, which is brilliant. And it was actually
there is heart in this movie. That's the thing. I think why it probably does work is the heart. There is heart in this movie.
Yeah, so you've got Wolverine who's trying to sort of make up for past mistakes, and he's trying to save what he can. Because I've had to stop myself for spoilers then. So you've got that going on in the background, and then with Wade, you could argue it's a Deadpool movie. He doesn't need to have like a deep motivation.
Well, he does in this one.
But because of the stakes, that's all I'll say, to do with his character, actually he's got really strong motivation to do what he does and to basically fight. So we're like at one point in the movie when he's giving like the hero speech to be like, come on guys, we can do this. It comes across as really legit and like he's actually meaning it because he's not.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I would argue that's what surprised me honestly with this movie. It was how good character like development was, and how much I feel like in the last couple of years we've had so many people who want to do sort of tragic characters or redemption arcs, and they don't know what they're doing. They sort of just either do it too quickly, or they have it's too much of a hideous act that they have to overcome. So then you don't buy the redemption. But with these two characters, it was just perfect, sort of what they were fighting for and what they were trying to overcome. With Wade, also, it was the mixture of he wanted to mean something. He didn't want to be the joke anymore. He didn't want to be like just he's the one who talks loads. He wanted to be a hero. And I feel like we've not had that for a while in an actual hero comic book movie, which is crazy. But to actually have somebody legitimately wants to just save people and be better. And that's sort of what his other half of his arc was, I felt.
Very interestingly, though, Ryan Reynolds has been putting up posts about each cameo and the characters and how it was, these people fought to bring these characters back and all. And he rang up certain people because he wanted to see their characters get the kind of send-off, as he put it.
The respect, yeah.
Yeah, and the respect. But he did actually say something very interesting. And he did say that he hopes to do this again soon. So I'll ask you this question. Should they do another Deadpool Wolverine movie, or should they just go and do another Deadpool movie? Do you think Hugh Jackman, now that he's got a bit of a take, he's got the comic accurate, and he looked like he was having fun in this movie as well?
Oh God, he looked like he was having the time of his life.
And if you see all that promo, they've been definitely having a laugh, and they've gotten very close, those two. So, could Ryan Reynolds convince Hugh Jackman to don the suit again for a sequel, say, or another?
I think so. And I think those cameos, as well as Ryan sort of wanting, like you said, to give those those actors sort of their moment in the sun, it felt to me like they were also a bit of almost like set up for, if they could do another one, let's see how the audiences react to these actors. Even the one that wasn't a returning actor is all I'll say, the other cameo. It felt a little bit like, in the best way, here's almost like a taster. Do you want these characters to come back? Or do you want some way for them to come back? And I think it's set up now that Hugh could easily come back with that Wolverine, is all I'll say.
I'd love to see it anyway.
But here's the thing, and that's what I'm seeing with reaction to it. That's what's actually sticking with people, though. It is the more character stuff. With the suit stuff with Wolverine, the first, they did that initially because they wanted the comic accurate suit. There's even a joke in the movie about how does that work? It doesn't really look good, sort of jokes. But actually in the writing, they could have just done it for, like I said, comic reasons, couldn't they? But they actually put an emotional weight near the end to that suit and what it means to that Wolverine. And I'm actually seeing a lot of people quote, in comments, whether it's people uploading the soundtrack or doing their own versions of some of the renditions of the songs, so many people are quoting, like, actually, and that's, I've never seen that for a Deadpool movie before. Like, people are really remembering the quotes and bits of what characters have said, and are even sort of saying, getting emotional almost about certain moments in this movie. And I think that's what's sort of
It surprisingly
blindsided.
does have a lot of heart, I have to say. It surprisingly does have a lot of heart, especially, you know, Deadpool. You wouldn't expect that level in a Deadpool movie, but it is. You're right. I mean, both of them have their stories, but I mean, when you find out what this Wolverine, what it's all about
Yeah,
with
his
this
history.
Wolverine, right? I'm like, fucking hell, man. That's, you know, and you could see the emotion, right? And then if this was the old Deadpool, after he said all of that, he would have said something smart. But obviously, he
Yeah.
wasn't in that scene. But it was well played. It was the right character as well to speak to him. As Cinnamon, you're showing up twice. Oh, there.
And now
Okay.
he's. But also,
Something.
for all what you said, the other thing that impressed me was how it so easily went from really outlandish, like, comedy to the heartfelt stuff, and then you go
Yeah.
back to the comedy, and then the heart, and I feel like he's Ryan and his writers, because Ryan's credited as one of the writers for this, and the producer, one of the producers. So, you know, he had this was his baby, this movie. The fact that he can write tone and shifting of tone better than quite a lot of writers currently, I feel. That it didn't feel like whiplash, did it? Like, you could have a moment near the beginning when he makes a joke against Fox, and he literally grabs the camera and shifts it, and then he literally is talking to the audience, but it's this idea of, like, oh, I can't repeat it because of some of the language, but it's the idea of him basically saying, F you, I'm with Disney now, and he literally pretty much makes a joke out of that at Fox's expense. So you have that, and then you go straight back to a moment of him, like, saying, no, I'm going to be a hero, sort of thing, and it doesn't feel out of place. And I just think that's such a hard skill to do, and he does it, him and his team of writers.
Yeah, and he's still, in fairness, though, I think in this movie he probably had the largest kill count.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, at the beginning, he probably killed about 20 people.
I mean, definitely had the largest kill count in this movie. But look, surprisingly, it did. It had heart. So, you know, it did have the action sequences in the right places as far as I'm concerned. Listen, I really enjoyed this. And Dogpool's a bit of a highlight. You know,
and
might be
also, they actually did a gender swap, which worked in this movie. Like, that
yes,
shocked me.
what's her name? Lady
It was
Pool.
Diana in the Crown. I don't know her name, the actress off heart, but, and do you know why that worked? Because she wasn't just a carbon copy with a changing of the gender. She was her own character, and she was very different to her male counterpart. So that's how you do a gender swap. That's what I mean. It's like he did so many things that I feel like the industry has been trying the last 5 years and failing, like, really badly at, which is the fourth wall breaking, the gender swap, like I said, the tone shifts.
Well, I have heard that, seen an article. It seems like that the industry is now rising up, and they've gotten to the point where they losing of billions of dollars now is not acceptable. And apparently, moving forward now, you're going to see a shot slowly but surely. You're going to see a shift away from what they've been doing and getting back down to what we're used to. But here's the problem now that they're going to have. They're going to soon find out that they have a lot of people in the industry that they gave these jobs to because based off their sex or their gender or their skin color, they're just not up to the job. And this is what's going to happen now. The industry is going to have to clear out shop
swamp.
in certain places. So it'll happen. It's going to. They can't. I always said, how can they keep affording to lose billions, spending billions on movies, and then end up losing billions, not even breaking even with some of the movies? Like, they can't go on like this. So anyway, what can I say?
Well, there's an interesting
it's a nice movie to watch.
Connected to that, actually, that Chris Gore has said he's heard, and he was on like a live stream, and so the rumor sort of caught fire because he mentioned it, that he's heard at Marvel, like very precisely, they a couple months ago apparently cleaned house was the phrasing he said, and like a lot of these like activist types apparently got told that they've gone. So Marvel, if that's true, and you can't help but think, look, Deadpool, look at what this should be your example now, Marvel. But apparently they might have wised up and they're cleaning, according to one guy who knows his stuff. He's been in sort of part of the industry circle for a while now. Gore,
yeah.
So.
But you'll have people, you can't fire them, it's wrong. But the bottom line is, the bottom line is, I have.
Have we lost Noel?
For these people are their nonsense. The bottom line is that if any of these people lose their jobs, I'm not going to lose any sleep over. The bottom line is those jobs should be given to the people that are actually qualified to do those jobs. It's as simple as that, right? I'm sick of this based off equality, diversity, and inclusion. Just get the best fucking goddamn people in to write your movies or to direct your movies or to act in your movies, and you'll make billions, right? Now, I will say this, it's going to take you a long time to win back over the general audience and fans again. But you know what? If you are willing to put in as much work as you did in destroying all the fandoms, well, then maybe we might all come back and we might start giving you our money again. So anyway, Cinnamon, are you there? Because you seem to be lagging quite a lot.
I keep switching back and forth, trying it out, but no, it's still.
I think you're disappearing a bit as well. It might be a combination of stuff. You sort of start and then we don't hear you, and then you.
So are you. You disappeared on me as well. You disappeared on me as well, Charlie. Your screen went black. It's YouTube then. It's YouTube.
I think Charlotte's okay on my end.
Nothing we could do about it.
That's why I don't know if there's stuff for your end or which could be messing.
Well, you disappeared on my end. You went completely black and your screen started buffering.
Well, I'm just saying, if Cinnamon didn't see it, maybe it's because you are, to me, I don't know, you start and then there's nothing, and then it's like we catch you finishing your sentence.
I'm obviously being censored. They're probably following me around because of my political views, but however.
I don't know.
This is me entertainment channel. Fuck off, right? Right, he's already taken down. What?
It says I've got like 4 bars, and yet when I go on it gives me issues, and it's just lagging and stuff. And it's really weird today. It's fine every other day.
Yeah. The other channels do be fine as well. That's weird. As soon as I come on here, something happens, and it's always happening. I'm getting fucking sick and tired of this nonsense now. Leave it out. I don't even talk about Shitty Who anymore, right? Okay, why would I want to talk about that piece of shit, right? Telling me that I'm with this, that, and the other. Fuck RTD and fuck Doctor Who and fuck the B. To cover up with that organisation. People really need to start. Ted! He's not to give me a point. Ted! Ted! Hold on. Ted! Is Chico outside? Is that what it is? Is that what it is? Is it Chico? Is it? What did he tell you about barking at Chico? Chico's not. Okay? I don't know what your attitude problem is. Okay? Dog and let dog. You know what I mean? So go on, into your bed now. I'm streaming. Don't bark again. Good little boy. You won't be getting any treats. Come on. Over there. I keep breaking up. Well, look, this is an absolute disaster. I don't know why I keep breaking up.
I said, I don't know if maybe if I went because there's issues your end, because usually if I do that, I can see it on my screen that it like goes black, and it's never not done that for me once so far. From my end, I haven't seen my screen change. So I'm wondering if it's your end that made me disappear.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is. I can actually see there's a time delay and all. Look, if this keeps glitching, we're gonna end shortly. But I'm gonna try let Cinnamon at least get a word in, because obviously me and Charlotte spoke about Wolverine. Probably not what we wanted to talk about. I obviously started off the conversation because I wanted to talk about that shit.
Deadpool, to be fair, so you're fine.
I'll shut the feck up. There, she's gone glitching again on me, so it's me. So I'll let Cinnamon talk, and then as soon as he's finished, then we're gonna finish up, because there's no way I can stream like this. There's obviously something wrong with my computer, so I'll have to check it again. Go ahead, Cinnamon.
Either that or it's StreamYard, because if you're having issues and I'm issues, because again, it's saying I've got 4 bars and it's been fine, and yet now it's playing up. Yet when I go on the phone, it somehow works. So maybe it's a bit something to do with maybe the website or something as well. But I don't know. I'm not. But yeah, on the whole Deadpool thing, I'm not. I haven't even seen any of the movies, so I'm not the one to comment. I did see that dog, and I thought it was ugly as. I think it needs. Well, I won't say what it needs, but I think that was the most. Oh God. I mean, people.
Man, it won the most ugliest dog competition or something.
Was that like a plot point? Was that like an intentional thing?
No, the dog actually won in real life. Won an ugliest dog competition or something, and that's how the dog got recognized. And then Ryan Reynolds wanted to use the dog in the movie.
Ah, well, it'll be loved by someone, I'm sure.
Ryan seemed to love the fucking dog, because one thing, it's not really a spoiler, but by God, man, the amount of times that dog was fucking licking Ryan Reynolds' mouth in that movie, unbelievable.
But yeah, oh God, I'm not really sure what to talk about, to be honest. It's one of those days. Everything's just not working. Everything's just playing up. Even now, I'm waiting for you to respond. I don't know if it's the catch-up thing. It's a whole. It's just one of them things, isn't it? It's just. I suppose. I'm thinking about movies. It's about time for them to start making good things again. It's about time to start giving us what we want. Not even just because we demand it. It's like, oh, you know, we're mourning because you don't give us exactly what we want. Sometimes I know we don't always know what we want ourselves. I think that's sometimes true. You know, we think we want something. Again, I've seen countless times where, whether it be a game or a movie, people ask for things, and then when they're actually given them, they don't do it, or they don't entertain it. Usually because what they asked for isn't quite entirely given. A bit like Brexit. Nobody want Brexit, but then like the Brexit they're given isn't quite what they expected. It's a bit like that, I suppose. But you know, I think it's about time. I mean, again, it's we've had it before. It's he's even gone now.
Yeah, I think it's Noel's end that we're going funny a little bit. Because
the whole thing is a disaster. Like, honestly, I don't know what's going on. I normally have a couple of issues sometimes where it lags occasionally. But like it's like completely not working on the laptop again. I even worry about how long the phone's gonna last, because that tends to overheat occasionally. The whole thing's just come crashing down. But movies, you know, it shouldn't even be a controversial thing to say. Like, oh yeah, it's completely common sense. Yeah, hire people who you think are going to be best for it. Even if you want new blood, you can have new blood. Just, you know, are they appropriate for the role? Do you think they have something new to bring? It's really weird to sort of sit there and say and praise things when we hear rumors of, oh yeah, they've had a bit of a clear out. Oh yeah, they've you know, it's about the time, you know, they close studios down and everyone feels bad for their workers, but you know, not the time they'll find work elsewhere. I know they did it with Lionhead Studios when they were closed down. I think that eventually they found work easily enough in elsewhere, because there's always developers somewhere, especially in this landscape. There's all sorts of projects being worked on. But it's weird because, like I say, the fact that you've got to ask it there and say in 2024, can you hire people who are actually right for the job? And it's the ironic thing, because the race for equality is, well, it's the opposite. The endless sort of chase for equality is not equal, because in the sort of in the rush of the blood, rush of the moment, hastiness of trying to get this person, that person, the whole process of that, going out and seeking these people, therefore it's not equal then, because you directly and deliberately in your agenda wanting a certain group of people for whatever reason. Sometimes, a lot of the time, it is just to look good. A lot of the time, it is just to sort of say to the public, "Oh, look at us! Oh, there we've got this team, aren't we good? Yeah, don't ever come at us or something, because we're covered." That's what I think it is, and I've even experienced it firsthand in my own life. So it's not exactly above the ordinary when you see the next game or the next movie where they're trotting out some sort of thing of, "Oh, look at this character. This character's got this condition, so that's that covered." I wouldn't be surprised if it is. A lot of it is just, "Oh, well, we've done that, just to show that we're still, relevant. They're still up there. Don't criticize us." And you can't do no, because there comes a point where you can't even do right from wrong. I saw somebody mourning at the Big Finish website because it was too dark, and all people with low vision couldn't see it. I mean, there's bound to be a point where someone's got to be upset, because they can't cover everything about it, can they?
No, there's always going to be some group which is going to be inconvenienced, whatever you do.
And it wasn't, there was the way it was phrased as well annoyed me more than anything, because it wasn't even like it was a genuine, like, maybe a bit of feedback, because they've said, like, "Oh, it's because I've had a bit of a shoddy launch of it. So, we'll continue to update it, give us feedback." And it was sort of worded, "Oh, well, this is bad because it affects people with low vision. I guess you don't care about them." I said, well, it's not that. It's not that deep. For God's sake, it's not like a targeted, deliberate thing. Or we can't stand our people who can't see our products. I mean, even though it's audio anyway. But it was like the person worded it. It was like such an intentional attack, and it's like, well, wasn't it? Was it's just one of those things.
We've said this. You've now got certain people who are just looking to find issues, haven't you? Like, they're looking to be offended. It's like some of the stuff that are like some of the more left-leaning, I'll say, to be kind, people, the way they have reacted to Deadpool. I'm like, this shows to me you don't care about movies and about actually stories or anything. You just want to be offended. The fact that literally some people are freaking out because Deadpool and Wolverine didn't get together, apparently. Like, that's a thing.
Oh.
And it's like...
oh, they're expecting that, were they?
It's like, do you know the two characters? Do you know? No, you don't.
I mean, I've not watched the movies, but like the character of like Wolverine is like, isn't the most alpha male? Testosterone.
But Deadpool's a flirt, and he will flirt with a bloke, and he will flirt with a girl. But like, if he's flirting and he's about to kill you, do you know what I mean? It's not as he's flirting with because
it's not even that. It's like, if you look at the classic Deadpool and Wolverine like sort of pairing and how they act, it's two brothers that
it's extremely iconic.
But it's that thing of like, and this is what I think is how you should do Deadpool and Wolverine, is the two brothers which spend about 90% fighting with each other and saying insults, but it's because they care and they actually really do like have that bond. But the way they show it is by trying to kill each other and trying to like hurt each other almost. That's how classic Deadpool and Wolverine are.
Well, we definitely saw that in the movie.
So to be moaning that they're not a couple, it's like, yeah, you don't have a clue, do you?
Listen, just going to say to you out straight, right? All you lefties, if there's any Noel, I don't think he's watching me anymore, but she's used to when I used to bitch about Jodie. But if there's any of you still hanging around, let me just tell you this, right? Not every character has to fuck, all right? Now leave it out, you little perverts, okay? And Deadpool and Wolverine aren't gay. They're not boy, or they're not this, that, and the other, right? They're straight heterosexual men, and if you have a problem with that, I suggest you go and you eat a pineapple or something, or shove one where the sun don't shine. All right?
That'll be written to Wikipedia to find one small little tiny example.
Diversity, fucking inclusion crap anymore, right? Nobody gives a shit about that anymore. Overkill, you've overdone it. We're all pissed off with it now. So you've actually put all of those people that just wanted to fucking, champion. You've set them back years now because the industry is going to overcompensate like they did with this. They'll overcompensate the other way now, and you'll be lucky if you get any fucking diversity on your fucking screen ever again. So shut up, you clowns. That's what you did. That's the left for you in a nutshell, folks, right? They just bleed and make everybody so fucking sick and tired of their bullshit, right? That even the fucking movie industry is now like, oh, here, we've had enough of this bull, right? And they'll overcompensate, right? They'll overcompensate. And then these little bitches will be moaning then, oh, the movies are too good now. They don't have diversity of people fucking. Right? Go and watch our porn where you're supposed to watch it and leave our industry and our entertainment alone. And if you want shit like that, create yourselves, you little perverted, twisted, little sick little individuals. You all need to be locked up in a mental institution. Right. Got me rant out of my system. There you go. Now I'm calm again. There you go. Anyway, Deadpool, Wolverine. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. If you're a lefty, don't bother because you'll be offended by something. And it'll probably be the smallest little fucking thing, right? Or it'll be a point that you bring up that makes absolutely no sense and proves that you've never seen any of the stuff that's been done before, or you haven't even done your basic research. Even I knew that scene that was in that movie was from a comic, right? Even I knew, and I'm not a comic book fucking fan, but I did me research, okay? Like every fucking person out there, because I like the Deadpool movies. I would call myself a comic book movie fan, right?
Yeah, that's what I am. Definitely, I'm not a comics reader at all.
Yeah, so I'm not comic book. Right, but I respect the comic books for what they did, and I always believe that you should respect what came before and respect the source material.
Yeah, because we wouldn't even have the movies if we didn't have the comics. That's the best way to look at it. You know, you don't have to be involved in the. I mean, I want to be. You know, I've got a few of them that I've collected. I haven't really at the time to sit down and really read them yet. But
you know what? That makes me want to see that movie, though. That makes me actually want to get into comics now. And actually buy those Deadpool, Wolverine.
That's the point. That's exactly the point of them, isn't it? You know, that's the good thing, is that they can take.
Have a look.
I'm not biggest of knowledgeable of comics myself, but I know there's a particular storyline I think Rabbi's always mentioned before. Is it Daredevil? Is a really good story arc in there that like majority or mainstream audience wouldn't know about. So if they were to sort of take a certain, I don't know, just for example, a certain really good Spider-Man storyline in a comic that is like really regarded as like the best that most people didn't know about, and they were to sort of adapt that and put it in a movie, and like people say, "Oh, that's good," and people who wouldn't have normally have seen it would be like, "Oh yeah, that's great," and then they'll go see the original comic. That's why I didn't have a problem with sort of Doctor Who, you know, pillaging and maybe taking ideas from Big Finish. And I know people kind of criticize Russell for it, and fair enough. If that's how you see it, that's how you see it. But I didn't quite mind it because I thought, well, yeah, there's some really good characters from that range, like the 11, which again, for those who don't know, it's like you've got your typical sort of Time Lord antagonists, you know, the Master, the Rani, but it's just sort of like another one. But there's sort of it's a weird sort of like flip on it because it's like all the incarnations of that particular Time Lord are all trying to battle for control. So imagine if all the Doctors, you've got the fifth Doctor trying to like gain for control, and they all battle. They're all one entity, and they're all sort of coexist, and it basically drives them mental, which is really interesting because I think something like that would be really great to see on screen.
Yeah, I agree with you. Actually, that would be a really interesting character.
There's some really good, interesting themes or characters that they could really actually would do well to be shown on screen.
Nicholas brings this up. Do you know what you all need to start doing though, right? Like I pushed back against the fans in this fandom. That's why I got all the stick, right? But I always said I needed people to be alongside me doing that. That's what you need to be doing in these fandoms. You need to be coming together, right? These are your IPs. You made these IPs as big as they are. It's your job to protect them.
I do think that's happening a bit more because
that's what I mean. It is happening a bit more, but it should have happened at the very start of this culture war.
Oh yeah, it should have. But it's like I was watching a video to do with Wolverine and just sort of the reactions, and it was a WD Pro video actually, and he actually had an interesting thing he showed, which is somebody on X was championing a certain character becoming Wolverine in the future. It's all I'll say. And Noel, you can probably guess who it is as soon as I saw it.
Yeah.
And literally, they put it as like, come on, let's all get behind it. And he showed the responses. And every single response was like, no, we've got Hugh Jackman. We don't want that. Wolverine's a bloke. Like all of the stuff which we've been saying for years in the Doctor Who fandom and getting absolutely called everything underneath the sun for. And you just saw a wall of people saying, no, that's not the character. And also, they're their own character. Let them be their own character. Don't try and force them to be Wolverine going forward when he's known as a male. He's known as alpha, like Cinnamon said.
Is this person a woman? Because I see that happen as well, even in a video game that I play. There's a weird thing about they'll try and argue that, no, it's not a character, it's more of a mantle. It's a new sort of thing that I see in all sorts of things. Things like even like Mortal Kombat, where certain characters are more of a mantle rather than an individual person. So they'll try and sort of worm the way into it and say, well, it could technically be a female version of this character, even though we've never seen one before. They'll say, oh, well, it's more of a mantle or whatever. Especially if there's been like reboots and stuff.
The little cameo that character that you're talking about had in the movie was good enough for me. And she did it.
That character should be her own and come back as her own character.
Well, if you're going to do, you could do a spin-off, or you could even have Hugh Jackman in. Do you know what they could do? Actually, capitalize on all this Deadpool Wolverine stuff. Do you know what they could do? They could do a TV series with Hugh Jackman, because remember now he's kind of I can't say that in spoilers, but you know what I mean. That would actually work if you think about it logically. At the end, saying if you think about it. That could actually work logically. Do you know what I mean?
And that's what I mean. You can organically, and I think that's what the issue is. They weren't doing it organically. They were doing it forcefully.
They were here. They were here.
Whereas here, that character is her own character, and you can have her and Wolverine. And I agree with you. They should have that instead of make her our Wolverine going forward. But like I said, and even WD Pro said it in his video, he goes, look at these responses. He goes, a couple of years ago, you would have had a lot more people, even if they fake sort of said it, go, yeah, come on, let's do it. He said, no, everybody is rejecting it in the thread. Everybody's saying, stop gender swapping, stop forcing these characters to become the character going forward. Wolverine is male. Basically, that's what loads of people were saying. And it's just refreshing to see that. And I think that's the pushback now. That at one point... Sorry, what are you going to say, Cinnamon?
It's just boring. I don't see, like, well, I mean, even the thought of it, even changing characters and gender swapping them. Okay, apart from turning it to a male to a female or vice versa, what actually good does that do? Because they're not interesting just because you've switched something up a little bit. You've actually got to make them interesting. You can't just sort of swap them and say, well, it's not this, it's that. No, it's not a male to female now. Like, that doesn't necessarily, I mean, it doesn't make them interesting. It makes them boring because we're seeing it a lot now. But, like, apart from that, apart from just a simple swap, what actually about it works? Because you've got to make it work. You've got to make it likable. You've got to make it decent.
That's the problem with these characters. It was like with Brie Larson's character, Captain Marvel. I mean, she wasn't likable first of all because the shit she was saying, but even the character that they developed wasn't likable. Do you know what I mean? And you're right. That's why Ellen Ripley. That's why Princess Leia. That's why Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, all the Xena Warrior Princess, all of these. I'm talking about movies and TV shows that had female leads. The reason why they were all so popular was, number one, the characters were relatable. They were likable as well. They didn't get on your fucking nerves, and the actresses that were playing them weren't coming out every 5 fucking seconds hammering the fucking audience or criticizing the audience. They just got up with it.
There weren't these sort of characters that were just like, well, I'm just amazing at everything, and you know, I'm just that good because I am. You know, it's just essentially what Ray was. you know, even Russell T Davies.
I don't blame Daisy Ridley though, because she's a nice. Daisy Ridley comes across as lovely. She does, and I think Star Wars fans even recognise that. She tries to. I have to say, she tries to play it safe. She never tries to get bogged down in any of that. But the character that she was given, yeah, I think she knows deep down that Rey as a character is flawed. And I think if she was, I don't know if that trilogy is still going ahead, but it was recently mentioned again last year, wasn't it? But if she gets that, I'm pretty sure she'll probably make demands that the character is far more fleshed out than the way it was, because she comes across as I won't say she's as the female Ryan Reynolds. She's not that, she's not that hardcore. But she will speak her mind, and she will defend fans that have their right to say what they want, and that's what she's done.
And she's got. I think the problem is so many actors are in the bubble, aren't they? And you've got people like Daisy, like Ryan, who there was so many bits in Deadpool which were literally just for fans. Like, only a fan would do it. Only a fan would have that reference. It's like...
Even Jenna Ortega, Charlotte.
Oh, yeah, like I said, there are some, and that's why I don't like it when some people say, oh, all of the actors are like this. No, I'm not denying there's a good chunk that are. But there are people, like you said, Jenny Ortega, Ryan Reynolds, Daisy, Henry Cavill. You've got people like that which just get that they're here to do a job, and
even that, I don't know the woman, but even her from Fallout, I haven't watched it yet, but like, even there was a bloody journalist in there that tried to sort of like worm his little way and asked a certain type of question. Basically tried to crap all over the canon or the games or the fans or something, and she gave him like the answer he wasn't expecting. She shot him down. I can't remember who it is, but she's the star of the Fallout show. And she basically, she's like, no, I played the games, like, to sort of like maybe understand it. I don't know the exact quote, but she essentially, no, I prepared it. And she's like, no. She's like, no, you should like have a good idea. Basically said the right thing, and basically what we would want to hear. It was just really good, actually. Seeing her and hearing her actually shot him down. I can't remember again. I can't tell.
But that's all we want. He asked
for a question. It was a bit like a gotcha.
Yeah.
And she just like, no, I'm not having that. It was like, no, the fans ain't born. Like, no, yeah, respect the source material.
That's what we want, Cinnamon. That's what we want, Cinnamon, though. You know, I mean, we're not, even when Jodie Whittaker came in, right, I said, look, she's not a fan, fine. I don't care about that. But at least research the role, which
like Matt Smith did.
She had not told her not to do, right? But as I tried to point out to everybody, I don't care what Chibs told her to do.
Yeah, she could have done it.
Any good actress or actor worth their soul would go and do the research anyway. And she never did. So that's why I never liked her. She never did. Just Shooty did. Matt Smith did. Matt Smith wasn't a fan when he came in. He became a fan. He actually became a fan while he played the Doctor. And then, you know what I mean? Was a fan after when Peter, obviously he didn't watch it with Jodie because he made that fucking clear. Why is it on New Year's Day? I mean, him and that Billy Piper, that video was my favourite video throughout that whole fucking the culture war with Doctor Who, is when they come out. Well, why is Doctor Who on New Year? Who taught that? Like basically saying,
yeah, because the good thing is about Matt, he's sort of in the best way kept himself separate, hasn't he? From a lot of like the sort of the circle that they're all mates in, and they all sort of protect each other. Like he's separated. He's loyal to the brand and he adores the brand, and he's always very
He respects the source material. And you can see he did for The Crown, and he also did for House of the Dragon that he's doing now. That's why I've always championed Matt Smith, and
at the moment, he's hands down one of the best acting parts in the second season. He's absolutely stole the show at the moment. Like some of the other main cast as doing, I would argue, not very good acting at the moment, whereas Matt, it's like up here.
Do you know what he's acting though? He's acting the way he's always acted. Again, a lot of his acting, I think he's a bit misunderstood because a lot of his acting is in his face. Remember, we used to say that, Charlotte, all the time.
Non-verbal.
His emotional expressions, the way he can just flick with a switch. I mean, he's one of the best. He's one of the best at doing that. I'm glad he's doing so well. I would like to see him now, after this. So I believe this will be the big platform because a lot of the actors and actresses from Game of Thrones ended up doing movies. Yes, some of them fell flat and their careers didn't kind of go anywhere. But I do believe that Matt Smith is that good that this time he can actually forge a proper Hollywood career. And I think he deserves it, to be quite honest with you.
He just needs to pick better projects.
You do yourself a world of good when you don't. You do yourself a world of good when you don't speak out and deliberately alienate people. Because it seems with Matt, he's always got a good thing to say whenever he's ever asked about Doctor Who, or whenever he does some sort of like magazine interview or whatever it is. He's always got good things to say. He never has to weed it in, give a certain opinion.
He doesn't show his politics.
Within a reason, I know he did this whole thing about the warnings and theatre thing. But even then, he never sort of came across like that was the way he spoke was. Oh, that's just my opinion. He never said that this is the way. He never put anybody down. He's never really that controversial. He never has to sort of like stoke.
The best actors are the ones that you don't.
And that's my point.
Really
like
see them until they're in that projects, and that's what you see with Matt. He doesn't really get involved with all the time. He might do it the odd time, and I have no problem with that. And I'd have no problem if all actors and actresses did the same the way he did it, because then they're not in our faces all the time and annoying us. But you know what I mean? That's what makes him stand out. I mean, the tenants are just after putting up a photograph, by the way, just to let you know, with the caption, "Our kids are so lucky," with the two of them making silly faces in their car. Like, they're definitely not reading the room, those two clowns. Do you know what I mean?
I tell you, I've thought this for a while. I think whereas Tennant was sort of for years seen as the golden boy of New Who, I think Matt is now taking that spot because of what both you guys just said, because he's not political. I think his Doctor, as throughout the years, people have gone back to his episodes and are actually seeing more of the amount of, like you said, complex sort of acting he did as the Doctor. I don't think that's fully appreciated when he was in the part a little bit.
I'm one of those, I think, because again, the hindsight of watching it again with my girlfriend, which we've just watched a bit more of it last night, and we've just started season 10. Is it the Deep Ice or the third one? And basically, again, when we were watching sort of through the Matt Smith era, again, I remember saying to you, Charlotte, that there was episodes like the woman who waited from like series 6. I hadn't even seen.
Did you say the God Complex to me? You watched that and you saw more in that one as well.
I think it was that one. I think it was the God Complex. No, it was. I've always liked the God Complex. I know which one it wasn't. It was the woman who waited, or the girl who waited, or whatever title it is. It was that one.
It's the girl who waited with Amy. Yeah, it's the girl who waited.
That one generally surprised me. I thought, wow, that's actually really quite all right. I thought it'd be boring because I remember like thinking I just thought it was a bit of a flat episode. And then it was the Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS was the other one, which I thought, wow, that's actually really quite. Obviously, there's some cast like there's a crewman. There's like 3 guys from a crew. They're a bit forgettable, but apart from that, like the sort of the work, like just the idea, the premise. And the sort of zombie time creatures, like again, that was really good stuff. I thought, wow, it's one of those episodes that you haven't seen in a long time, and you think, yeah, that's actually really good. Because I always preferred series 7 to 6 because it was a bit more grounded. It kind of got away from the fairy tale stuff. Oh, there was still an element of that, things like the little flower she had in a book and stuff and things like that. But I just thought it was a little bit, as the season, I thought it was just a bit more relaxed, a bit more grounded than I thought Series 6 was. And I just think, you go back and you look at those old episodes. Because again, I think at that time, I was really young because I started with Tennant, but it was towards the end of Tennant. Really, Matt Smith, I suppose, was technically like where I saw the most of it from start to finish. I didn't see I did see all of Tennant, as obviously when I first started. Again, my personal earliest memory is an Ex-Doctor. That's just my memory. Whether I watched it before that, I can't even remember. But that's like his second to last Christmas special. So like, I don't remember that all that much. Of all of the Tennant era, but seeing a lot of the Matt Smith stuff.
I
and
think,
then watching it again years later, you do see a appreciation of it. Even the Capaldi stuff as well.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say that about Capaldi just there. I think people, I would say to the Doctor Who fans that, or the younger fans at the time that tuned out when Peter took over as the Doctor, I would encourage you actually to go back and watch his era. Yes, the first era his first season is a little bit dark, okay?
And you have to get used to that. I think that is
you will have to get used to.
I really prefer it.
But I will say this, I prefer it myself. I wanted that Doctor all the way through, but in season 9, I do believe to get the balance what Moffat was trying to do right in season 9. And season 9 for me is up there. It actually is. If you rewatch that, season 9 is up there. And even season 10, yes, there's a bit of wokey, but if you ignore the wokey and you just look at the stories, it's actually a good season as well. I have a soft spot for season 10 and I defend it. I know the Monk one goes a little bit all over the place, but I really did find that 3-parter very interesting.
I remember
to this day, it was interesting. It was so there had been a little bit more going on in it. Again, I think at the time I said that there didn't need to be a 3-parter. You could have got away with doing a 2-parter with that story. I think that's what I remember I said.
But it does take up a chunk of the story, doesn't it? Like, I think that's a 3-part story of it. Like, even then, it sounds like it was loads more. It was like 12 episodes back then. God, I mean, that's almost.
No, we got spoiled back then.
You think even back then, he was all saying like, "Oh wow, that's 3 episodes dedicated to one story." I mean, God, imagine if they did that now. 3 episodes out of an 8 story season.
Right, I'll ask you this, right? Because I did say I was considering bringing back, watch-alongs, right? So, I'll ask this question. I'll ask the panelists as well. Would you like us to revisit the Matt Smith and Peter Capaldi's eras in New Who while we're waiting, I suppose, until the disaster comes back that is Doctor Who today? Would you be interested on us doing? Now obviously I don't know if people would want to do it on the Wednesdays because we might have to schedule another day for it, but I don't know if people are free now because everybody is busy on their own channels and doing streams on other people's channels, so it's probably going to be a lot more difficult.
Or we could do 1 week a normal, like we do Wednesday, and then the next week we could do.
All right. Right. So how do you think about that? Right. So we'll start from next week if the answer is yes. So we've done a normal stream today. So the first episode of Matt Smith's here is the 11th hour, isn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's the 11th hour. So if you would like us to do the 11th hour next week, please press 1 in the chat.
All I'm thinking though, because we've done watch-alongs, would people like us just to do a stream talking maybe about the episode?
I wouldn't mind actually. Because I think we've
done the watch-along now.
Yeah, but I like to always so what I might do is before we stream, I might actually watch them episodes literally again each week because I just want to refresh.
Yeah, I think people could easily watch. I'm just thinking for format reasons, maybe we do a little bit different, but same idea. Like I said, we're still talking about the episode, but just not watching.
Right. So which way do you want?
Yeah, I've already watched it really.
Yeah. So do you want us to come on here and just talk about the 11th hour, or do you want us to watch it and talk like we've done before? Basically, is what Charlotte is saying, and I think that's a valid point because we have done those watch-alongs, those type of watch-alongs before. Now, if you want that again, I'm all for it. I think the panel will be all for it. But if you want us to change it up to the just talking about the episode, because then we have more time then to get into a bit more detail about the characters, the development, and all of that other stuff. So if you want us to do that way, that's press 2. If you want us to do it the original way, which is to watch the episode live and talk, then press 1. Okay, so 1 for the original option or the original format, or 2 for the new format.
Yeah,
so,
I'm happy to do both. It's what people.
So, well, I'll tell you what. You have to pick one. So you put it in the live chat as well. I have to put it in the live chat as well.
I don't think I can.
Put it in the live chat. So we're all going to be put on the spot. So I will put mine in now.
I'll say mine because I can't. I haven't got it set up that I can use the chat yet. So for me, it's going to be 2. That's me verbally saying what I'd put in the chat if I could.
Right. Well, then that's 2 twos because I agree. So
I'll say 2 as well.
So Cinnamon is putting 2. So Nicholas, Daniel doesn't want to get involved in that, so we won't ask Daniel to give his vote because he doesn't give a shit, and that's what RTD's done to him. So fuck you, RTD. Nicholas is 2 as well. So we'll do it that way. So what I'll do is I'll probably watch the episode, or if you guys want to actually join me beforehand, we can have a little private fucking little watch along on our own behind the fucking scenes or something.
I don't think I could with time. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
It's when I eat, basically. Smack at that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'll watch it before I come on anyway. Well, I mean, I know this episode inside out, but I do love the 11th hour. It's I love the innocence of it, actually. You know,
I love how much it's like a showcase for Matt. Like, I think that's one of the most First Doctor episodes I feel that was the most like, let's show all the levels this actor can do and let's really show off.
Oh, he did go through every single range of emotion in this episode, I have to say. And then when he calls the Atraxi back and he says, scan me, he's real calm. And he tells and they start scanning, and then with the music starts coming in, and then we see all the images of all the different villains and all the different doctors.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I'm the Doctor.
That's it. That scene where you quickly the flashing through all. So I mean, it's a little bit like memory berries. Oh, look at this old monster that had we like 2 seasons ago. But it's like that scene. I think is like literally the only sort of connective tissue to any of the previous seasons, and I quite like that. Because it's quite.
But you know what I love about it?
It could have went for a really safe option.
And he walks right through it, and he fixes his dicky bar, and he goes, basically run.
Yeah.
And the face, it's just the face, and you know it, and the Atraxi just fuck off, and you're like, oh my god, bring it on!
And also that was the start of what I love about Matt's Doctor, them starting to show it, which is. This isn't a doctor that's going to shout at you. This isn't a doctor that's going to sort of make a lot of noise when he's angry. This is a doctor that's going to go quieter.
That's good, though, because we kind of got that with Tennant, though, didn't we? Because it was probably the better decision, because we kind of had that kind of attitude where where 10 could be that kind of fiery. If we've got a problem with you, I'll say it. Like, kind of attitude. So it was nice to sort of do something a bit more streamlined.
Eccleston and Tennant were a bit when they were angry, they were very like physical either to show their anger, or they were quite loud, or they were very shouty at times when they were angry. Like I said, whereas with Matt, he can shout, and he sometimes he does do that as his doctor, but his sort of main thing to do
like
is
with
to
Amy,
yeah, but his main thing is what I love about him is he goes quiet. And then he sort of starts to snarl and like get a little bit nasty with his voice, and that's when you're just like, oh, okay.
Or he could even because I don't know if you like maybe even know what I'm talking about, but there was like obviously it's due to the fact that they were probably the earliest episodes that he filmed, so he probably didn't quite have a nail down on the character as much as he probably later would have done. But those first couple of episodes,
I disagree with you on that one. I disagree.
No, like,
and
you don't know what I mean.
Quickly, Flesh and Stone was the very first thing that he filmed, right? Flesh and Stone was the very first thing that he filmed. But look, his performance in that, we consider that one of his best performances.
Yeah, but I'm not about that. I mean his characterization of the Doctor, because the Doctor seems to me, obviously Matt Smith is brilliant from the start, all throughout. But I mean more, his Doctor seems a bit more calmer in the first sort of couple of episodes. Because when I think of that Doctor, I think of the flappy hands, the sort of like the childish kind of nature, and he grows into that a little bit more. Whereas again, I don't know if anyone really else has noticed, but there's a sort of, he seems a bit more, again, I don't know if that's the right word, mature. He seems a bit calmer, just ever so slightly. He's still obviously a bit silly. He's still quite different to 10 out of 10, obviously. But it's just for those first couple of stories, or for the first maybe half of series 5, he just seems a little bit more different. Again, obviously he's still finding it out, that character-wise. Matt Smith's obviously brilliant, but I can't quite explain it. It's just he seems a little bit different.
No, I feel like near the end of his run, and even somebody like me who adores his Doctor, I'll happily admit, I think Moffat, the writing of his Doctor, got a bit like wrapped up in, Matt's known for flappy hands and childishness, and like that's what his Doctor was sort of.
Like you think about that one in the Daleks.
I mean, in Beast Below, absolutely loses
the Dalek and he was getting angry and stuff like that. I couldn't have pictured a scene like that from maybe series 6 or 7 as much. Like it feels very localized to that kind of.
I disagree with the anger, because as early as Victory of the Daleks. No, I'm thinking of Victory here. His reaction to the Dalek, and that's series 5. He absolutely loses it. He hits.
He does.
He's hitting it with it. He's
this is what I mean. He's a little bit more serious, ever so slightly. In those, like again, you see him shout a little bit in the Beast Below. He's very no nonsense. Like, what are they doing here? Kind of attitude in Victory of the Daleks. I don't quite see that. He still gets put into like, no, don't mess with me, because he could do that very well. But just something about those earlier stories where he was a little bit more. Yeah, don't be fooled by this, culture.
Then do you think that's Moffat trying to find Matt Smith's niche?
It's not a Matt Smith thing. It'll be the writing. It'll be obviously with the lines, the dialogue, and even just the things. Like even in the Flesh and Stone, or I don't know if it's the first part. I think it was the first part where the sort of the cleric or the cleric or whatever he was. He kind of thought like he soldiers around his soldiers, and Angel Bob was scared or whatever.
Yeah,
and he was like, he sort of goes up to him and is like, anyone who isn't scared is a moron. And he looks at him like he's put him down without really having to sort of shout at him or have a go. He's kind of like cleverly like saying, I'm talking about you, kind of attitude. Like, anyone who isn't scared is a moron. And he looks at him and they have a little look at each other. Like, I'm talking about you. Yeah, I'm letting you know. And it's like, again, I feel like if that was 10, and it would be a bit more direct.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, cool. How Matt did his anger was a lot more subtle. I feel like his Doctor, it was a lot more sort of. It was like he almost tricked you, because he wasn't shouting, he wasn't making a scene, but if you actually listen to what he's saying, he's been, I would say, more vicious than a shouting Doctor because of what he's saying. It's like, I can't remember when what series this is, but when it's A Good Man Goes to War. 6. And he has that scene with the Colonel, and it's when he if you remember, he sat and he's just like, "What's your name?" And like it's quite like nonsense beginning almost. It's like he's still being that bit of the silly Matt or silly 11th Doctor, and then you can see what he's doing. He's like laying traps, and then because by the end he goes, because you know what, children will look at you and they'll call you Colonel, run away, and I want that. And you can hear his voice is getting a bit higher, because by the end he is absolutely furious.
It's the fury of a Time Lord.
it's built up to, that's my point. He's not at the beginning shouting. Like I said, he's very sort of like laid back, he's sort of joking a bit, and then he hits him with, because I want, like I said, the point of, because he's humiliating him. That's the whole point. He's utterly humiliating him.
Yeah, like he could really dress him down. He could say he could do the shouty bit in Victor the Daleks. He's raging, but like I feel like with 10, it was never quite like he was more direct. It was more I'll have a go at you. Like it was only one way, whereas Matt could do it different ways. I think. He could be the sort of humiliating him, like, I'm talking about you, and in that way. Again, I like that line. Just like anyone who isn't scared in this room is a moron. He's talking about him.
Yeah.
He even looked at him, but he's not saying it. He's sort of like, he's like being subtle. He knows he's talking about him. The bloke knows he's talking about him. And it's just the look that they give. Like, like it's just the sort of the youthful sort of silliness of that doctor, mixed with the fact that he's over hundreds of years old. There's an old man in there that mixes and blends with the sort of young man
it's
you can physically see.
Another bit I love near the end in Flesh and Stone is when he's talking to Angel Bob through the radio.
Yeah.
And he has that thing of, I'm all right, I've got comfy chairs. Have you got comfy chairs? And then he replies, he goes, I made you say comfy chairs. And like that's almost like the preamble. And then he absolutely lays into him. Because of what he's done to Amy, and he's references that. He's like, you hurt one of my friends. And it's like, okay, now we've got don't mess with me, doctor mode, and it's such brilliant from the silly.
That's why I've come around to that story, because I was one of those people who kind of preferred Blink. Not that I didn't like the other two. I thought Blink was the better one, and then I remember Noel saying, like, no, I actually think them did that Flesh and Stone. Time of Angels was the better story, and I thought, oh, are they? And then I thought about it. I went away and thought about it, and then I watched them, and I thought after watching them, I have to actually say I think as a Doctor Who story with the Doctor and the Weeping Angels, I do think the Series 5 story is better because it's quite deep. I mean, dark. Like Blink is scary, but once you've got past that, like it's just that. Within reason, still a great story, but like I really like the deepness, and when I say deep, I mean deep. Like you've got the angels, sort of like really sort of showing their evil, like
nasty side, isn't it? They're nasty.
Like it's beyond nasty. It's beyond sick. Like they're using a dead man's voice. They knew he was scared. It's when they say like because at the point the doctor still thinks he's talking to Bob.
Yeah,
and they say, don't they, something like, "Oh, we took him because he was scared," or something like that.
He died in fear. And it's like they say, like, "Oh, he died in fear," or it says "I," because they're still using that voice.
That's the royal the doctor up to make a mistake. But as you said, this doctor is so calculated.
I remembered what they said now as well. It's very personal because they say, "Doctor, you said." He shouldn't. Basically they point out the fact that you said
they blame on him. He says like, "Oh, you said you said
you protect him." Yes.
Yeah, you
said I'd be. That's it. I think he says, "Doctor, you said I'd be safe," and you can see Matt's face just flips, and he's like, "Okay, we're gonna play this game now, aren't we?" It's like this. Oh,
and then you get the bit from River. The River goes like, "Oh, they're trying to make him angry." I really like that bit. That's probably one of my favorite bits in the entire 2 parts because that's really deep. Like they're using his voice, his thoughts. Like it's basically, although it isn't him, but it may as well be him. It's his thoughts, it's his consciousness.
Yeah,
and it's somehow reincarnated that voice. And then when he says to him, "Oh, the angels want to let you know that I died in fear. You said you'd keep me safe. You said fear would keep me strong. And when I realised I knew most, you let me down." And like they really dig it in deep, like, and I think that's sick. That is evil, like, and that really shows how scary the Weeping Angels are. Because apart from them being, because in Blink they are scary, but they're just physically scary. You don't really see how sadistic that is. Like because that is beyond evil to sort of like use some sort of dead man's voice, and then to sort of really sort of drive it in deep and say, "No, it was your fault," and I'm going to use their voice and tell you how scared they were while they do it.
What they do to Amy in that
and then you see him getting angry, and that's I think that's amazing stuff. But that's the brilliant of that.
That's the brilliance of Moffat right there. That's when Moffat is at his best. Those stories actually highlight that. And listen, while I do say that,
and that's why those
Flesh and
two stories
Stone and the other one's my favourite, I'm not diminishing Blink whatsoever. Blink is a good story. I'm just saying the other one is a better story because it goes into more detail about the angels, and then you get to actually see how, as you have said, how cruel they actually are and how far they'll go and how disgusting they are that they'll actually use a dead man's voice to try get at the Doctor. Do you know what I mean?
And also think about what they do to Amy, and I think they even comment on that to him to that basically say, yeah, because we've done that because it was fun. I think that's,
why is he counting? Because he obviously when he finally clocks on that she is counting down. Why are they making her count? It's like, oh, I get the whole. It's like, oh, I get the whole angel in the eye thing, but why are they making her count?
Yeah.
Well, because he fires back to make her afraid.
No, because wow. and I think somebody says because it's funny. I don't know if one of the angels says that or somebody else comments, but it's also that cruelness again of what you were talking about.
And even the way they laugh, and it's like screeching. It's like, it sounds awful, but that's their version of laughing, and that really makes them scary. And that's why I feel that they are better depicted in that story than they are in Blink. And I know I remember watching like a Harbour Holmes video, and he pointed out like there's a slight continuity error because they essentially established like, oh, they can't move unless they're being seen, and then you get to the end where they're literally sort of like when Amy has her eyes closed and they're moving while in stone form, but the whole point was they only turn to stone when they're being viewed.
But that's because she's got her eyes shut.
Yeah, so they only turn to stone when you're looking at them. But but she wasn't looking at them, and they were still moving in their stone form. And the Doctor kind of like waves it away, says, "Oh, they're not going after you now. They're not even interested in you. They were interested in the big crack that was opening up." And apart from that slight issue, which I mean, I suppose you could really find a headcanon, because I think it was established that the angels still thought she was looking, even though she had her eyes closed.
I think that's what I think the Doctor said that, like, pretend like you can see, pretend, and that will be enough, sort of thing.
I think that's how I had kind of anyway, that they were distracted, and then I guess when the angels maybe thought, hang on, is she actually looking? Maybe that they were still trying to move in their stone form. Maybe, I don't know, slight issue, but again, apart from that one small little tiny issue, I think that's got to be my favorite, because even the music and the instrumental music in that story as well is really creepy. It's just the whole thought of going through the caves. It's like this team wrecking through the caves and through the ship, and it's good that the two stories were two-parter as well, because I think it wouldn't work as a one part. It'd be too short.
And it needed to be the two parts, definitely.
It works so much better for it, and that's why again I prefer that to Blink, because it's just you get more time with it, and it's like they build it all up in the first part, and then the second part is just where it's all unleashed.
And also, you actually get a Doctor proper involved, whereas Tennant was off the story, but he had a couple of scenes, but he didn't actually have a lot to do with the angels. Whereas you see a Doctor fully face them. And like you said, because of that, the
problem ultimately ended up happening. See, I honestly believe at the time that the Weeping Angels were probably the best New Who villain.
Oh, but they ruined them at the end.
We've gotten, right? But the problem with Moffat is then he overdone it with them. If the Weeping Angels had popped up every few years, they would still have an impact. Now, I will say something for Chris Chibnall. He managed to bring that back a little bit and make them a bit more creepy.
Yeah, but then he ruined it again.
I know he did. I know. But just think of the good elements that he added to it. And then, you're right.
He didn't completely destroy him, did he? But he did the whole thing about the taxi service. The taxi service.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. And I said this at the time. For me, that really made them not special as creatures anymore. They were literally just you said, a taxi service.
But that was the weird thing, because again, apart from that taxi service, and I thought oh wow, because I also didn't like that. Oh wow, you've got the Weeping Angels, this supposedly really sick, really evil. They've got no morals. Yeah, they will happily rip up a dead person's voice and consciousness and use it against it to wind you up, to really dig in. That's what they do. Why are they running around? Because the Time Lords told us to go pick you up or whatever. I didn't like that. But apart from that, I still like that story. I remember when we talked about it and we all reviewed it, and I remember saying, like, no, this is actually one of the better Whittaker stories, because it was actually a little bit creepy. I actually found it
before the connection to the whatever they were called, I forgot now. Secret Society, whatever it were. I agree. They kept the scary. It was when he tried to connect them to the overarching stuff with division and all that. It's when it went down.
It should never be explained. They're one of those things. The Weeping Angel should never really be explained. You can maybe tease it, but never give a full answer. Always establish like, oh no, mate, it's just an idea, like they did with the Beast Below, where they kind of floated about with the idea that, well, he could be the devil, he could be the physical representation of what we associate him to be, but maybe it could be more than that. It was something like that, wasn't it? It wasn't like,
yeah, it wasn't said precisely what the creature was. It was just maybe
it was something like, wasn't it? It was like, oh, well, he could be the devil, but there could be something more to it than that. It wasn't just.
I think from my memory, the doctor basically said maybe this creature is like the inspiration or his presence.
That was it. Yeah. Because when we think
throughout
of the devil,
universe, and that's how things like the devil was sort of born.
If you think of like the red man, you think of red skin, the horns. That's kind of what we associate. So maybe the body, maybe the whole body of that beast, maybe that beast came before the devil, or maybe that beast was the reason why people got on the devil or something. Maybe that came first, and then the idea
from my memory how they phrased it.
So that would be like, it will be like there'll be a reason behind, like. Okay, when people say, "Oh, the devil," red skin, green heart, big horns,
fire get that as well.
That beast. So the beast might not actually be the devil. That just maybe he's the reason why they call it. Again, they really played around with it really well, and they didn't give a definitive answer. If you wanted to believe, well, if you were someone who says, "Well, it obviously is, isn't it?" then you could. And then if you were someone who said, "Well, no, obviously it's not," then you could have that as well. And that's what it's supposed to be. Give the audience. Let them know what to think instead of just, telling them. Maybe that's a thought, eh? Give them the choice. I mean, well, he's tried to do that, hasn't he? He tried to give us the choice with what was it, Dot and Bubble?
Now he's done it in the wrong way.
Yeah, what do you make of it? And you need to come to the realization. Did you realize it yet? Or in maybe Empire of Death, did he do it there as well?
I've asked me another 20 minutes, but Russell decided instead of writing for bits, he was just going to let us do the work for him.
Yeah. Anyway, look, we could bang on about Matt Smith all day, to be quite honest with you, because, look, I always knew this would kind of happen with the way Doctor Who was gone. There'd be more appreciation for Matt Smith. There certainly was more appreciation for David Tennant until he absolutely destroyed his legacy. But we will get into that some other time, because I think we do have to ask that question.
He really alienated himself.
His legacy, but we'll get into that another time. But I'm going to let the guys do channel shout-outs, but next week we will do a review, if that's what we're going to call it. No, a chat, a discussion about
a discussion stream.
Discussion stream on the 11 hour with Matt Smith. So come and join us for that. That is going to be absolutely a good one, because people will engage in the chat as well, which is great. So we'll let the guys do their channel shout outs. But before they do that, obviously, you can subscribe to my 2 channels, but the Irish Sound has been hit again with another copyright strike, so I'm out of action for 2 weeks. I'm not even going to get into it, right? But I do have the second channel. That's why I set up the second channel. But that one's gone. I streamed on there today. Bobby D was actually in there earlier, so well done. Thanks, Bobby. It was nice to see you. Nice to see some people that obviously follow me here are following me on the other channels as well. That means a lot, it really does. But you can catch me on the Irish Zone, Get It Off Your Chest, and we'll be streaming there tomorrow and on Friday. So join me there. And of course, look at these last couple of weeks, months, there is no excuse except that I am very busy, and I am sorry that I'm not pumping out as much content as I would like. And you know I would, because I can talk for Ireland, like, you know, you have already seen that. But it's just gotten mad. It's just gotten mad, and I'm still trying to struggle with the balance, and it is very hard because then, see, what's happening now is they're just calling these things at a moment's notice now, because we're trying to get be cleverer and get ahead of the government so they don't set us up and all of this. So I never know when I'm out there. Do you know what I mean? So it's been it's been just absolutely mad, and I'm surprised I'm still going, but I have been resting. Not as much as I should be, I will admit, but I am resting, and that's what I'm going to do now as soon as I go off, because I literally just finished the stream, and then I came straight in here to stream. So I'm streaming now nearly 2.5, 3 hours now. So I need to fucking rest me and me throat. You know yourself. I did my first speech at Garda HQ over the bank holiday weekend. So I'm pretty fucking hoarse. Anyway, I'll leave it there and hand you over to the guys. Queen Charlotte.
Yep, so tomorrow night our Type 40 normal stream, but it's a little bit different because Dan's got this week has been podcast day for Doctor Who, which he's a part of and he arranges. So you've got me and Simon and Dan, who you know, and then some other people that are from across podcasting to do Doctor Who, and it's sort of going to be a bit focused about podcasting and sort of online community and how the Doctor Who fandom has changed through the years and how it has become sort of a more online thing in some aspects. So it's sort of a bit different, but that's honestly what is going to be, I think, quite interesting tomorrow night if you come and join us. And then last night we recorded an actual podcast, which Dan is hopefully going to get out on Friday. And the general idea was, if we had to pick 4 figures from Doctor Who history to be on like a Mount Rushmore type thing, who did we pick? So all of us had 4 picks. We sort of talked about 3 generally, and then the 4th one we really sort of championed as our main pick. And that's from across the whole of Doctor Who history, actors, writers, anybody who's basically contributed to the show. So we recorded that, and he's editing it now. He's going to hopefully have it out for Friday as a video.
That sounds fun, that one, actually.
So, and I'm going to try and be in the chat for that, because it's going to be fun to see people's reactions. I said after we recorded, just to see if we surprised some people, because we surprised each other a little bit with some of the picks. So yeah, you'll catch me tomorrow live, and then on Friday hopefully I'll be in the chat for that stream if Dan can get it edited in time, and you'll catch me here on Wednesdays, whether that's general chit chat or our Doctor Who discussion streams.
Yeah, so it'll be nice to actually switch it up and see how that goes. I think people will like it that way, that we kind of switch it up and we're not totally forgetting about Doctor Who, because I think people are a little bit pissed off at me that I'm not complaining about Doctor Who. I just don't have it. Look, I'll just say it out straight.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't have it in me anymore.
I've got bigger battles to be fighting over here in the country, like yous are in the UK or wherever yous are in the world. And to be honest, a TV show is not worth, me getting fucking riled up about anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'll have the odd rant here and then. It's good to vent, right? But other than that, do you know what I mean? We're just going to talk about topics that we like talking about. And I wanted to talk about Deadpool, and I'm glad we got to talk about it because I finally watched it. And I wanted to tell everybody that, it is worth watching. I mean, don't expect, the most deepest plot, but it's got heart. It's got everything. It's got a bit of everything, right? But the character development is what's good here, as Charlotte rightly pointed out. And, it's worth watching. So if you haven't went to see it, or you're waiting until it comes out whenever, I would recommend the movie. You certainly won't waste.
And some of the sequences are going to just are better. Let's put it bluntly, on a cinema screen. Some of those fights you want to see on a big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with you. Cinnamon, what have you got coming up on your channel, my friend?
Well, I did recently upload a video, I think last night, actually. It was something
You
a little
did.
bit different. Showed off a couple of kits.
You did. I saw it.
In the collection. Made
I
a
saw
video about that. Anything coming up? Not sure as of yet. Again, anything that I can think of, anything, if I get a spare thought and think, oh,
here's one for you. We'll give you one.
20 minutes.
Why don't you do the first? Why don't you do your first game, your first game, Middlesbrough's first game? You are a Middlesbrough fan after all. You could do an old match report or something at the end of the game. You know? Just an idea.
Yeah, that's a fair shout. A lot of people do that, I suppose. And it's anything's possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said before, anything.
That's what I mean, because his channel's not going to get bogged
the YouTube
down.
channel on the PS5, so that kind of.
There's a delay again.
Yeah,
See,
I think there's something going
there's
on.
a delay again. Yeah. See, his channel's not going to get bogged down, folks, because he's doing different stuff on his channel, whereas I originally started off as a Doctor Who channel, so it's very hard to actually shake that. Do you know what I mean? Even though we've tried different stuff on this channel, it never really takes off because everybody just expects me to talk about Doctor Who. But seriously, stick with us on the Wednesdays anyway. You know what I mean? This is the one stream that I can guarantee is on every Wednesday anyway. I have to just, she's been saying it to me for years now, and the people here have been saying it on the panels and in the chat. I have to get more organised. You know me. I just wing everything. I don't know how I managed to get everything to come together, but I'm winging it because there's so much going on. You know, I'm jumping from one stream, then jumping onto another one, and then I have to go then do some video editing, and then someone else then will request something, then I have to go and do that because I don't like letting anybody down, and every little bit helps in this movement that we're in this country to do me bit. Do you know what I mean? Then I'm out there, you know what I mean, out on the streets in the rain on a bank holiday Monday outside the Garda HQ to basically stand up for them and say, don't be brutalising our people. Jesus. Anyway, you can hear it in my voice. I need a break.
Yeah, you need to have a relax.
I need do you know what? I need a holiday. I would like to be able to go somewhere, but financially we're screwed as well. I'm not making that off this channel now, right? They for some reason I should have got paid 3 days ago and they haven't paid us. Like they're fucking around. They're limiting me streams. You know, they're probably going to limit this one, and all we've been talking about is Deadpool and Doctor Who. It's just shit. It is, man. It's just shit. Like, you know what I mean? It's bollocks. I had it up to here. I'm literally running out of energy, and I don't know how I'm still going. And then, like, you know, yourselves, you got bills coming in all over the place. People fucking putting pressure on us and everything, and fucking neighbours then fucking reporting Ted because apparently he's barking too much, or he was accused of pulling down in the car park and all such fucking thing. Like, I'm getting sick and tired of neighbours. But you know what? There's so much stuff going on in the world. You know what I mean? And someone has time to ring up to the place that looks after the building that we're in, the apartment block that we're in, and ring up and say, oh, Noel's dog, Ted, has been down in the car park having a poo. Right? No such thing. We don't even bring him down to the car park.
I was going to say, you've said that multiple times. You never do that.
Not anymore, no, because the first time we were told not to bring him down there, we decided, right, that's it. We're not giving them an excuse to say anymore. And that was years ago. And now he gets brought outside all the time. Someone is just fucking, I'm telling you, it pisses me off. But anyway, get a life. There's more important things to be fucking worried about. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Sorry for the rant again, but I think you can hear it in my voice. I've just been going non-stop for the last three.
You need to just have a chill night now when you can just sit down and do something that doesn't require you.
You know what? That's what I did on Monday after I came home. I put on Deadpool and Wolverine, and as soon as the movie was over, I crashed out. I was gone. but I had to just sit down and relax. And you know what? I even managed to, even though I was tired, I managed to chuckle a few times in that movie. I mean, look, dog pool, right? For me, right? I don't care how ugly that dog was. That was the cutest thing in that movie to me. I loved it, and I loved the way like they look. That he loves the dog, no matter what.
Oh, and who, the owner of the dog made me
Oh
laugh
yes,
a lot
so
as
we
well.
didn't mention where you meet the owner
That's all I'll say.
of Dog Pool. It's fucking epic. It's brilliant. But anyway, with that said, I will say good night to you all. Stay safe and look after yourselves. But I need to take that advice and look after myself and actually have a rest. So I'm gonna just fly off after this. So I'm just up to here. Do you ever get like my brain's working overtime all the time? I'm thinking of everything that's going on, scenarios, all of that. I just non-stop. Anyway, have a good week. I'll see you all very soon. I will try get back on again this week, I promise. And I'm more than likely I will, because probably be best if I stay home for a while and chill. So maybe do a couple of chill streams in the afternoon or something like we used to, because I don't mind the afternoon streams. A bit of energy at the start of the morning, yourselves. So yeah, look out for that. I will try my best, guys. But look, I just want to say to you all, the ones that have stuck around and still continue to stick around, I will try my best to get out more content on this channel, because it does mean a lot to me. It's just everything is just happening at the same time. It's very hard to keep up at this stage. But now that the other channel is kind of knocked as well, I could start putting the timetable down, I suppose, now that I've got time to fucking think things through. But I have to do it, because if I don't, I'm gonna burn out by the end of the year, and that'll be it. Then you won't see me for a couple of weeks or months, man, because I'll end up just, yourselves, if you're born out, you end up.
Oh yeah, it takes a while to get back.
Takes a while, so I don't want that to happen. Anyway, look, you all look after yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you hopefully before the weekend. If not, I'll see you over the weekend. But stay safe out there, because it's fucking crazy. And I'll just say, God, if you're listening, now would be the time for the old comet to hit. So you're listening. Anyway, good night, folks. Have a good one.
Good night, everybody.
See you later.
YouTube will get me on that one, because I threatened.
Yeah, they'll say you're trying to kill the whole world. You want to come and watch that out.
Yeah. It'll be something fucking stupid. Anyway, have a good one. I have to get the right trailer. Now let's hope this goes off smoothly this time. Right, here we go. The Cracking Time trailer. Good night, folks.
Right.
Bye-bye.
Right, it's not working.
No.
Right. Let's try that again. Right, here's the Cracking Time trailer, folks.
Take two.
1, 2, 3.